Back here on CBS Sports HQ, we are 4 wide, perhaps like a horse race that Tim likes to watch, or maybe you're into auto racing. You like to go 4 wide as well. It's fun. Matt Norlander, Tim Doyle, Joe Musso, Hakeem Dermish, as we take a look at our dark horse to watch, our Final Four predictions, and our national title winner. We will start with you, Matt. We will start with the dark horse to watch. Explain that.
Well, okay. I want Tim's first because there's a difference here. A dark horse is a power conference team that can make a deep run into the bracket. A Cinderella comes from a mid-major league. So my pick, which I will reveal in just a second, is from a power conference that's going to make a deep run. Don't tell me you're about to give me a mid-major team, because that's a Cinderella and not a dark horse.
Actually, your explanation's amazing and you're spot on. Yeah, I'm going to give you a Cinderella, okay? I'm going to give you a VCU. I love this squad. They returned their top 3 scorers from last year. Max Schulger's the A-10 Player of the Year. Nobody wants to schedule VCU. Florida's like, oh, cool, we'll go up to VCU. Absolutely not. Nobody wants to play them. 4 quad 1 games. They won 3 of them. The Atlantic 10 probably should have got multiple bids, but they're scheduling. They don't get the love in the SOS. Ryan Odom has won major games in the dance. Max Schulger, Jack Clark's experienced guy, Joe Bamasil. This is just a tough, experienced group. What I like about them, chemistry, continuity, 2 things very difficult to find in today's college basketball environment, and they're just physical and tough. They can win a high-scoring game. They can muddy it up. I think they have all the recipes, but you're right. That's more of a Cinderella.
How about this? He picks VCU. Our picks come from the same matchup in the first round. BYU is my pick. I actually gave serious thought to giving you New Mexico. I can see a scenario in which New Mexico makes a push to the Elite Eight, and I think that they would be more dark horse than Cinderella. I will go BYU, and by dark horse, I think they've got a healthy shot of making at least the Elite Eight, if not the Final Four. That's a team that has really, really good offense. They run great stuff. They're physical. They've got Yegor Demon, who's going to be making pro money at the NBA level for well over a decade. I think there's good pieces there. A little bit of a trendy pick, but regardless, we're trying to give you a dark horse who is not seen as likely to get to the Elite Eight or beyond, and I think BYU might fit the description better than any.
I got VCU in the Elite Eight, so we're going head-to-head, my friend.
We are. Yes, that's fascinating that we picked 2 teams in the same matchup.
It's often those dark horses, the Cinderellas, however you want to define it, what colors in this tournament with so much excitement, but appetizers, if you will. The main course, the meat, the chop that we're looking at, the Final Four, oftentimes is a 1 seed. Since the year 2000, only 7 instances where a non-1 seed has gone on to cut down the nets. 4 of those 7, the UConn Huskies. So be a 1 seed or be UConn. All that to say, if your Final Four is littered with 1 seeds, it's not the end of the world and you're likely headed the right direction. Your Final Four, Matt Norton.
Yeah, okay, so I have gone against my instincts here because if you want another nugget here, since 2013, the Final Four has been populated by at least 1 team seeded 5th or worse, okay, in this tournament. So recent history and not so recent history would suggest that there is going to be a team yet again. We can't see it now, but it will break through and make the national semis. But the reason why I went against this was it has been such a strong sport at the top. I'm going to go with, and let me be clear, I'm uncomfortable doing this. I don't like to go with all 1s and 2s. This is not my style. That being said, here's my Final Four. Here's my Final Four overall. I told you, I teased it earlier in the show. Bama to beat Duke in the East. I will go with Auburn over Michigan State in the South. I will take Houston against Kentucky, and I will go with the Cougars to make the Final Four. And then St. John's has 4 losses by 7 points combined. Very, very few teams ever have gotten to the tournament with no losses by more than 3 points. That's true of St. John's here. I think they continue it. They've got Providence to get done in the first weekend in terms of the site that they're going to go to, and then they've got to be shipped out west. They won't get the benefit of being in Newark because they were a 2 instead of a 3, but we've seen some teams out east come through the west and make the Final Four. I'll go with the Johnnies.
I was watching some of your early upsets, and I thought we had the same brain at moments, which was scary, and then I saw your Final Four, and then I went, we don't have the same brain at all. I have none of those teams. None of them. No, I have Michigan State going because I think they just have a very favorable draw, and I don't know, my trust factor with Auburn is not extremely high. Florida, they have a gauntlet, no doubt. I see them playing UConn, Maryland, St. John's. I mean, some tough games. They go. I have Duke going because I think Duke's region is soft, and I have VCU playing Duke to go to the Final Four. Alabama's a tough read for me. I know they could score, but they're going to have to go through St. Mary's. That's a tough matchup. And lastly, I don't know. Like Kentucky, Kentucky has to play Tennessee. I think it could be a really tough game. They beat Tennessee earlier in the year. If they're healthy, they got 6 guys that can score in double figures. And the more I look at my bracket, the more I hate my bracket. Last year I trusted Kentucky. They let me down. But Duke, Kentucky, Florida, Michigan State, kind of a fun Final Four.
I like that. That's a fun Final Four. Michigan State, Florida, Kentucky, Duke. I like it. It's like a party Final Four.
Yeah.
It's a party Final Four. This is going to be the single most over-asked question of this month. It's going to be, hey, how you doing? Who you got winning it all? So, Matt, hey, how you doing? Who you got winning it all?
I got a rematch in the national title game between 2 really, really good teams that faced earlier this year. Auburn played against Houston. Actually, Auburn got into a kerfuffle at minimum, if not an outright incident on its team flight. They had to divert the plane, go back. They flew out, and they beat Houston in Houston. This time, back to Texas for a rematch. I will take Kelvin Sampson to cut down the nets, win his first national championship, and I've got the Houston Cougars winning it all. This has been one of the most consistent teams in the country over the past 5 years. Over the past 3 seasons, it has finished number 2 at KenPom. They are relentless. They are the best shooting team by far that Kelvin Sampson has ever played. It's that combo of the defense and their ability from beyond the arc. I will take Houston to win 6 in a row and cut down the nets.
I don't hate that pick at all. 4 straight years, 30-plus wins, insane. Best offensive team, great culture, rebound, defense, LJ Cryer. They got guys that can score in the perimeter. Hard to argue that pick. I think the best team right now today, doesn't matter if you are today, it matters in 3 weeks. I think it's Florida. And here's what I love about them. They have 3 legit guards that all started their careers somewhere else, highlighted by Walter Clayton Jr., who signed with Iona, Rick Pitino, maybe one of the best point guards in the country. And those 3 guys, Elijah Martin, Will Richard, they're not even the best pro prospect. They got Alex Condon, who's 6'11", and can pass, do all these different things. Florida right now is the best team in college basketball, but they're going to have to earn it. And St. John's could be waiting for them. They have a really tough region. But at the end of the day, no matter what the region is, you got to beat teams in front of you.
Who you got?
St. John's. I'm here for the
Yes!
story.
Look
It might
at
not
you.
be what happens. That's what I want to happen. And that's the point, because everybody that's here has the chance. Not everybody that's here has the experience and a head coach that St. John's has. It's different. They're galvanized by their head man right now. They're being coached different. What was it? 4 losses by 7 total points?
Yes.
It feels undervalued. I was waiting for a misstep in the conference tourney. We didn't see that. I think we've seen the last loss for St. John's this season. Best basketball team in New York.
I would have went at him 6 weeks ago, and now I'm sipping the vino. Now I get the pinky out. I got the pinky out a little bit. I understand completely what you guys are saying. They were 7 of 14 from 3 against Creighton in the Big East Conference Championship game. If they shoot somewhere near 40 to 50% from 3, they're not losing in this tournament.
I'll say it this way. There was novelty. The novelty has since been removed.
Last year, you and I, same page.
Yes. Last year, Matt and I were on the same page.
They picked UConn.
And we got teased for drinking the Connecticut water.
We did.
And
how'd that work out?
What happened? UConn went back-to-back.
What do you think?
I'm not picking UConn. Houston.
Let's go.
Houston, we have a national champion. Houston, we have a national champion for the first time in school history. Why? Best defense in the country. One of the better offenses in the country. And if they make it to San Antonio, this is going to be a virtual home game. 3 hours west of Houston is San Antonio. Cutting down the nets, Cougars, national champions.
I don't hate that pick. No doubt about it. The biggest storyline right now, health. Cooper Flagg, how healthy is he? Janai Broom, how healthy is he?
Juwan Roberts has the ankle for Houston. I'm taking that into account as well. It's all across the board. Just real quick, I do think you've got teams, when I look at this bracket, Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida, Tennessee, St. John's, Alabama, Michigan State, all can win the national championship. I understand why Duke's going to be the favorite. It'll be the most in your bracket pool, the most popular pick to win it all will be Duke. And the second one, very well, maybe Auburn, and the third one could be Florida. Don't underestimate Houston. The top of the sport has been super strong this season, and I can't wait to see what develops over the next 3 weeks. It's such an awesome build-up to Selection Sunday, and then we get this huge release. Now we have the field. Now we let it sit for about a day and a half. We're off to the first 4. But I do think for the majority, I will tell you this, here's the irony. With the exception of Houston, which I have winning it all because they got Gonzaga, I don't think that any 1 or 2 seed is going to be pushed in the first weekend. I think that they're all going to get to the Sweet 16. We don't often get that. Usually at least one of them gets picked off in the first weekend. But the top of the sport's been good. I think that gets reflected in the bracket results by next Sunday.
You know, it's rare to see a middle-aged man as happy as you get on a day like today.
How dare you?
I like
Middle-aged?
What
are we doing?
It's exciting for
Coming
me
for us all.
to watch. It's basically
What are we doing?
It's your Christmas today, and it excites me watching you.
I love it. It's a holiday. It is a holiday. Matt Norlander, Tim Doyle, Joe Musso.
I'm 29 years old.
You take a look back at their picks.
What is this headshot, by the way?
It's an early photo of Matt Norlander. His dark horse is
Senior
BYU.
photos.
Yeah.
Final Four: Auburn, Alabama, St. John's, Houston.
That's me after Gonzaga upsets Houston in the second round.
Houston winning the national title. What are the odds the Cougars win the national title? Glad you asked. Plus 700. Tim Doyle, dark horse, or you can make the argument that's a Cinderella. VCU, maybe they have another run in them. Number 2011, Final Four, Michigan State, Florida, Kentucky, Duke. And he's got the Gators cutting down the nets in San Antonio. Chomp, chomp.